Dear viewers, you're watching RTD's English News Edition to Top Stories. Grand opening ceremony in honor of President Anglais in Nairobi. And on the international news stories, attacks shake Afghanistan's capital. Thank you for joining us in our newsroom. The official reception ceremony for His Excellency President Ismail Omar Anglais at the Kenyan Presidential Palace was held by his Kenyan counterpart Uhuru Kenyatta as part of his official visit to Nairobi. The national anthem was played for both countries, where the President received a warm welcome from Kenyan dignitaries. The President of the Republic arrived yesterday in the Kenyan capital of Nairobi for a 48-hour official visit. He also held meetings and talks with high-level figures from the Kenyan government. Thereafter, the two heads of state had a first one-on-one meeting during which many bilateral and multilateral issues were discussed, particularly in terms of economic cooperation, security, and partnership between the two countries. After the one-on-one meeting between the two heads of states, bilateral meeting was followed in which participated the Djibouti ministers, namely Foreign Minister Mohamed Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Investment Ali Ghele Abubakar, Minister of Energy Yunus Ali Gedi, and Minister of Trade. And from the Kenyan side, government members attended the meeting. This event saw the participation of the Djiboutian ambassador in Kenya and the Director of Energy, Director General of Tourism, and Director of NEP, also senior Kenyan officials. The Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta welcomed in his speech his Djiboutian counterpart, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh. Let's listen to him.
Thank you for graciously accepting our invitation to come with your delegation for this state visit, which is really, I think, a clear sign of the very strong partnership we have together. And I'm certain that at the end of your visit, we will have had the opportunity to engage, to discuss on matters of bilateral interest, and to see how we can strengthen our cooperation, especially given the fact, as we have just been discussing, that we live in a very troubled region, how we can cooperate together to secure our region for the prosperity of our people, how we can work together also to increase investment between our two countries and trade, and how we can work together to share experiences and exchange technical know-how on a wide range of issues that can help grow both our economies, and as I always state when I meet with friends, on the basis of a win-win situation. So, Your Excellency, mine is just to take this early opportunity to say welcome, to say please feel very much at home amongst your brothers and sisters in Kenya, and I really look forward to us having fruitful deliberations over the course of the next few days. So, Your Excellency, as we say in Kenya, karibu.
For its part, the Djiboutian President Ismail Omar Guelleh thanked his counterpart and the hostess for the warm welcome that was reserved for him. He highlighted the importance of relaunching the bilateral relations between the two countries and consolidates the partnership between the two countries. Here is his speech.
Very grateful to you to give us the opportunity to strengthen our relationship, to find out every field of transforming our economies, taking our part of the development of the region, unifying our views to strengthen stability and create the conditions to better life to our people in our region. As you know, we in a very troubled region. We lack stability, we lack security, we are confronting and extremism and violence in our region, and we are sacrificing our brothers and our sons in Somalia to regain peace and stability. Our participation has no selfish interest. We are sincere and we believe that it's our duty and making our region safer, and as you said during our meeting in your office, that when anything occurs in neighboring countries, especially in Somalia, the negative impact is immediate in our countries, namely calling Kenya, Djibouti country at risk, so blocking every investment, every tourism and relations, economic relations, social relations with other countries. So we must be on track to avoid as much as we can.
Coming back to the national news, the chairman of the Saudi Shura Council and his accompanying delegation met the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed in his office. The meeting was held in the presence of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Muhammad Ali Hamad, and senior officials of the Prime Minister, in addition to the ambassadors of the two countries. At the outset of the meeting, the Prime Minister welcomed President of the Saudi Council, Sheikh Dr. Abdullah bin Muhammad bin Ibrahim al-Sheikh, thanking him for his visit, which reflects Riyadh's keenness to enhance parliamentary cooperation between the two countries. The meeting reviewed ways to activate and strengthen the relations between the two countries and push them toward further development. In the framework for his 4-day official visit to the Republic of Djibouti, the chairman of the Consultative Council, or the Saudi Shura Council, held an extended working session this morning with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Muhammad Ali Hamad. Upon his arrival in Parliament, Abdullah bin Muhammad bin Ibrahim and his accompanying delegation were received by the Parliament Speaker and a number of MPs. At the start of the visit, President Muhammad Ali Hamad welcomed his Saudi counterpart during a short visit to his office, thanking him for accepting the invitation to visit the Republic of Djibouti. Thereafter, the two sides held a session of expanded talks during which they reviewed the relations between the two countries and means of enhancing the level of cooperation between the two councils. During the meeting, the two sides expressed their satisfaction with the remarkable development of relations between the two countries, led by President Ismail Mergile and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. In his speech, the chairman of the Shura Council expressed his pleasure to visit the Republic of Djibouti as the first speaker of the Saudi Parliament, stressing that this step is a translation of strong relations between Djibouti and Saudi Arabia under the leadership of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, the age of his generation. And for his part, the President of the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali Hamad, has welcomed the Saudi delegation led by the Speaker of the Shura Council, praising the continuous support received by the Republic of Djibouti from Saudi Arabia since independence in 1977, addressing aspects of cooperation between Djibouti and Saudi Arabia. The Speaker urged Djibouti to upgrade the relations between the two countries to achieve the aspirations of the two brotherly peoples. In a brief address at the opening of the meeting, he discussed aspects of bilateral cooperation between the Republic of Djibouti and Saudi Arabia. He reviewed the infrastructure projects in Djibouti which were financed by the kingdom in the framework of his cooperation. Mr. Hamad reiterated Djibouti's government and people's enthusiasm to improve relations with Riyadh to achieve the aspirations of the two brotherly peoples, and pointed out that the views on regional and international issues are identical. And following this extensive meeting, the President of the Saudi Shura Council paid a visit to various parliament facilities, accompanied by Djibouti Parliament Speaker Mr. Mohammed Ali Hamad. The head of the Saudi Shura Council toured the halls and the various offices in the House of Representatives, accompanied by ambassadors of the two countries and a number of members of the parliament. And during this tour, Mr. Abdullah and his delegation received further clarification from the President. The head of the Saudi parliamentary delegation expressed his satisfaction in visiting Djibouti, thanking the authorities for the warm hospitality. Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed received a delegation from the Foreign Affairs Committee of the French National Assembly led by Muriel Tessarn. The Prime Minister held an important meeting with the French delegation on bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries. The meeting was attended by the Secretary General of the Prime Minister, Mr. Naguib Abdullah Kamil, and during the meeting, the delegation noted that the strong relationship between France and Djibouti and the common desire to strengthen cooperation, particularly in the areas of defense, security, stability and peace. Several other topics were discussed, including the future prospects of Francophone organization. In this regard, the Prime Minister noted the importance of the project to establish a Francophone center for young people displaced from neighboring countries such as Ethiopia and Yemen. Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed expressed the wish that the French language will witness a remarkable development in the region. The Speaker of the House of the Representatives, Mr. Mohammed Ali Hamad, received the delegation from the Foreign Affairs Committee of the French National Assembly. The delegation consists of 4 parliamentarians and 1 advisor, all members of the Foreign Affairs Committee. The meeting was attended by the President of the French-Djibouti Friendship Group to the National Assembly, former Prime Minister Dilete Mohamed Dilete, Dima Bilhan, the Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Djiboutian Parliament, Mr. Abdurrahman, and the Director of the Office of the President of the National Assembly, Mr. Idris Mohamed Ahmed. And after welcoming the French delegation, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mohammed Ali Hamad, expressed his pleasure to visit a delegation from the Foreign Affairs Committee of the French National Assembly to Djibouti. The members of the French delegation discussed the purpose of their visit to Djibouti in order to consolidate the friendly relations between the two parliamentary institutions in friendly countries. The two sides also discussed a number of issues mutual concern, especially the recent developments in the political and security context in East Africa in general and the Horn of Africa in particular. As part of the ongoing preparations for the holy month of Ramadan, the State Secretariat for Social Affairs held a meeting yesterday at its headquarters to discuss and exchange ideas on food aid for the ordinary people living in the Djibouti city. The meeting was attended by the Secretary of State for Social Affairs, Osman Aden, and officials from her department as well as various donors. The main objective of this meeting is to inform all participants about the importance of assistance to the vulnerable people during the holy month of Ramadan, as well as timetable for distribution of these food supplies. Non-governmental organizations and associations have provided their program of assistance to the population in need. The Secretary of State for Social Affairs, Osman Adan, said that the Djibouti government has taken all necessary measures to assist poor families in the holy month of Ramadan through a strategic framework in order to coordinate the necessary resources for distribution in the holy month of Ramadan, while at the same time NGOs or concerned parties to support the unlimited program to help the needy families. Secretary of State for Youth and Sports Hassan Mohamed Kamil received in his office this morning a delegation from the UN Agency for Socio-Economic and Cultural Development. The meeting was attended by all officials of the State Secretariat for Youth and Sports. The UN delegation was led by the United Nations Development Programme resident in Djibouti, Barbara Menzi. The two sides discussed the work plan of the State Secretariat for Youth and Sports and the future prospects for the promotion of national sport and the development of a strategy of integrating youth in the social and vocational fields. The UN delegation praised the efforts made by the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports in promoting sport in the country. As part of the National Students Awareness Program, pupils from Bilbala Elementary School for grade 5 have visited today the National Navy. The students were greeted by Colonel Ahmed Daher, head of the National Maritime Staff, and his closest aide on arrival at the National Navy side. The students were then divided in 5 groups. They have then inspected the marine equipment in the Operations Center, which directly monitors the sea, the porters, and the maritime border with Toyate. They also visited the fire station. Thereafter, the students boarded the speedboats and learned how to wear the rescue jacket. At the end of the visit, Colonel Ahmed Tahir, chairman of the National Maritime Staff, held luncheon in honor of the students. In her intervention, the head of Bilbala School, Ms. Fatima, explained that this event pays great attention to the students of her school, while expressing her thanks to the higher military command and the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training for the cooperation between the Ministry and the Supreme Military Leadership. In an interview, Colonel Ahmed Tahir, head of the National Maritime Staff, said that this visit is very important for educating children about the national values and is ready to support the Ministry of National Education in its efforts to rehabilitate tomorrow's generations about belonging and patriotism. Officials of the municipalities of the capital and the interior region held an important meeting to exchange views and common issues in the region of Dakhil. The event is part of the initiative of the Mayor of Djibouti on sanitation and water. The delegation consists of local elected officials from the 5 interior regions in the 3 municipalities of the capital. Upon the arrival of the delegation to the region, they have been received by the President of the Regional Council, Abdurrahman Yunus, and officials of the municipality of the capital, and the local officials from the interior regions met with the President of the Regional Council to discuss the problem of lack of drinking water and how to fight it. And on the international news, Donald Trump announces U.S. withdrawal from Iran nuclear deal on Tuesday. More with Hindi Ibrahim.
President Donald Trump has withdrawn the United States from an international agreement aimed at controlling Iran's nuclear program. The Iran government agreed to deal with the US, Britain, China, France, Russia, and Germany in 2015. Since then, Trump has criticized the deal, calling it very badly negotiated. Speaking in the White House on Tuesday, the president said Iran was responsible for unrest throughout the Middle East. Trump accused Iran of being the leading state sponsor of terror, saying it supported groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Taliban. But he added that no action taken by the regime has been more dangerous than the pursuit of nuclear weapons. Trump said that the Iran's leaders had refused to negotiate the nuclear deal, yet the U.S. leader suggested that he is willing, ready, and able to negotiate a new deal. The president said he is reestablishing the highest levels of economic sanctions on Iran.
Guterres announces that United Nations support for G5 Sahel for insufficient explanations.
The UN's logistical support to the G7 Sahel force is not about the challenge as the security situation in the Sahel continues to deteriorate, say a recent report by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. The United Nations contribution foreseen by a resolution of the Security Council and a technical agreement concluded at the beginning of the year between the force of the Minizima Episcopals in Mali and the G7 Sahel force formed by 5 countries: Chad, Mauritania, Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso, must materialize in a more concrete and tangible way, he said in this document obtained Tuesday by AFP.
In Afghanistan, several people were killed and some injured in 2 successive terrorist attacks that rocked the Afghan capital, Kabul, on Wednesday, witnesses and sources said. The first attack occurred when several gunmen and suicide bombers attacked a police station in the Dashti Barshi district in western Kabul, according to Interior Ministry spokesman Najib Danish. The second bombing occurred about 25 minutes later in central Kabul when terrorists armed with explosive belts and guns stormed a police station and neighboring buildings in the Shekri neighborhood. Government troops coordinated off the area shortly after the attacks, preventing the crowd from gathering at the site. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attacks, which occurred a week after a double suicide bombing in the Afghan capital that killed at least 25 people. And this is it for this news. Thank you for joining us in RTD. Have a good night.